closer. More than that, you might find yourself taking a look at your own life and deciding to risk a little more, to love more passionately so that when you reach the finish line, you too are breathless. Sheila Walsh, author of God Loves Broken People. Chapter 1. Living a Jesus Way of Life. Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Mary Oliver. March 27th, 2013. Soon after I woke up this morning, I wanted to kick Eve in the shins. After 6 months of no visits from my uncle, no time of the month, or as our 5th grade PE teacher so indelicately referred to it, no menstruation cycles, now it chooses to appear in full glory while I'm staying at a guest house in a third world country without any supplies or a Walgreens around the corner. Ugh! While I'm a tad grateful this proves I'm not in full-blown menopause yet, especially since I'm about to become a first-time mom, which I'll explain later, I'm not at all happy about having to deal with this today, when I'll be spending the majority of it waiting around in hot, overcrowded Haitian government offices with no restroom facilities. So after I finished my coffee, I carefully approached Madame Suzette, the beautiful and gracious proprietress of the guest house, and asked tentatively if she had any feminine supplies. It was the beginning of a stilted, awkward conversation because, like many of the Haitians I've met, Madame Suzette is very reserved and dignified, especially when it comes to personal matters. And here I was, trampling propriety less than 48 hours after arriving from America. To complicate matters, her English is heavily accented and my Creole is horrible. So it took a lot of gesturing and repetition before she said, "Oui, oui," and seemed to comprehend that I needed private products. She nodded to one of her assistants standing meekly behind her and said something in Creole, to which the young woman responded, "Oui, madame," and scurried off, presumably to retrieve the unmentionables. Then Madame Suzette turned her attention back to me and said politely, but haltingly, "Your hair looks very belle," the Creole word for beautiful, "this morning." I replied, "Merci beaucoup, thank you very much." She continued by asking, "Do you use the long ones or the short ones?" And I replied, "Pardon me, madame?" I wasn't sure exactly what she meant by the question. So we started playing charades again, and this time she motioned her hands to symbolize a long, thin tube while repeating slowly and emphatically, "Do you use the long one?" And I recognized in a flash that she wanted to know if I used a flat iron. You know us girls, hair is always at the forefront of our conversations. Frankly, I was quite flattered by her curiosity about my styling regimen, because I didn't think my hair looked that great in light of the heat and humidity. So I grinned with what I hoped was an expression of self-deprecating humility, and said with a cheerful Southern accent, "Oh, no, ma'am, I didn't bring a flat iron with me. All I used this morning was a blow dryer, which I always have to use because my hair is so thick." I may or may not have punctuated the proclamation with a slight head toss. However, Madame Suzette didn't return my smile. In fact, she seemed a little confused and embarrassed. It wasn't until the young woman she'd sent away on the feminine hygiene product errand walked back in the room and sheepishly approached me offering a tampon in one hand and a maxi pad in the other with the exact same question, "Do you use the long ones or the short ones?" that I realized what Madame Suzette had actually been referring to. I think the entire female staff at the orphanage is now mentally scarred because they think I use a blow dryer down there. Dear Jesus, come quickly. I've been stretched way beyond my comfort zone a lot lately and have stretched a few others right along with me. Beyond what I thought the elasticity of my heart and mind, and some days even my reputation, could take. Interestingly enough, it's becoming much more comfortable. 3 days after that most